the Literary Entrepreneur Podcast, Episode 13. Welcome to this edition of the Literary Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Tara Moody. Today we're going to sit down and talk with Vanessa Richardson, and we're going to talk to her about her The Certain Ones projects. Vanessa, you're going to find, is a phenomenal literary entrepreneur whose projects include poetry, plays, books, a magazine, and she also has a very successful online radio show on Blog Talk Radio. So how does she manage and market all of these efforts? We're going to find out on this edition of the Literary Entrepreneur Podcast.
All right, Vanessa, welcome to the Literary Entrepreneur Podcast. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us today.
Thank you for having me, Tyra. I'm so appreciative, as always, of all the things that you do and inviting me to share with your listening audience. Thank you.
Not a problem. Now, before we get into some of the many things that you do, and just to let the listeners know, you are an author, you're a playwright, a radio host, and also a magazine publisher. And I'm sure there's some other things that you do as well. But let's just start off and let us learn a little bit about who Vanessa is. Tell us about yourself.
Thank you, Tyra. As you mentioned, I am an author, I'm a playwright, a poet, those entities, and on the side by night, I'm just an avid reader, tenacious praise and worshiper, just a lover of God, just love connecting with interesting people who like-minded, who persistent, who resistant to the negative things that surround us, who are just determined to be somebody regardless of situations and circumstances. So in a nutshell, that's basically who I am. I'm a people person.
But tell us about what is The Certain Ones you have as a very definitive brand when you see it, and you're like, who is The Certain Ones? What's the story behind that brand?
Oh, it is quite a testimony behind that brand. It was not formulated, it was more birthed, created, designed through tests, trial, determination, and persistence. The word certain is to set aside, or something that you're definitive about, something that's positive and confident about the truth, something that is convinced. I took that word out of the biblical passages when I was going through a certain health ailment, and I saw the term, the certain one. There was a certain man in Damascus. There was a certain woman with an issue of blood, the certain ones. And I said to myself, what does that mean? Tyra, I couldn't let that word go, because it introduced, that one sentence introduced a testimony of great men and women whose testimony was written for the world to see. It didn't feel good, it didn't look good, but the aftermath was wonderful. And it all started with their testimony, and it ended with their faith producing greatness. So I took that word and I morphed it into The Certain One, my first nonfiction, coping with endometriosis and catamenia pneumothorax. Just journaling, and I felt impressed, and I like to say from God, to write that book. And it did very well with women who suffer certain issues, health issues, and I decided I didn't only want to read their stories, I wanted to hear their voices. I wanted to connect with them on a different level. And from there, 2 years later, after writing The Certain Ones, You're Not Forsaken, You're Chosen for Purpose, nonfiction, still available on Amazon, you guys, just a plug there. I then went on to do the Blog Talk show, and I would connect with some wonderful women every year. I host a slew of women who suffer with endometriosis in March, and we just talk about that. The testimony is so inspiring. I mean, these women are determined to live and not exist. They're determined not to give up. They're determined to have the quality of life. They're determined to just say, listen, I am a survivor. So I knew their voices had to be heard. So I formulated that talk show, the Blog Talk show. Not only that, I branched out. We connect with great celebrities. CeCe Winans was a guest on there. Not the name drop, just a wonderful group of people who were gracious enough to join us on The Certain One. For instance, this Thursday we have Christoph St. John from the Young and Restless. He's joining us tomorrow. So we just blessed to just connect with like-minded people, business-wise, spiritual mind, just people who with perseverance. So that's how The Certain One formulated with the Blog Talk from the book to the Blog Talk show. And then Tyra, it goes on. I felt the impress the unction to form the magazine, the certain ones, online magazine, and that 2 years old, and it's just phenomenal. I connect with some great authors who contribute to our marriage, to our single column, to our business column, inspirational, motivational, all those things is there. We cover it. Entertainment, we cover it. It's an inspirational entity, and it's just great. It inspires me every day.
And so you did talk a little bit about your blog talk show and the magazine. Let's go back to the blog talk show for a bit. It sounds like you've really been able to use that online platform and even social media to be an advocate. What would your life be like without having that online presence? Has it really helped you? Is it something that you would suggest people who kind of shy away from online that they should consider it? You know, what's some of your advice about that?
I'm laughing. Woo! You hear that, Ty? Woo! Oh, Ty, it's you know what? It definitely humbles you, and it teaches you discipline. It teaches you, for some, the character of others. It teaches you to I keep saying it teaches you. Let me say that it taught me discipline. It taught me to be mindful of who you connect with. It taught me that it can be a beautiful thing. You can travel miles. You can encourage people, and you inspire people. Now, those who are considering doing a blog talk show and you doing it for frivolous things, you may enjoy it, but it's my passion. It's my heart. It's what I do, is to inspire and motivate people. So I'm very careful whom I bring on the show. I made a mistake of just trying to bring people on just for rating in one point. That was my early years, and the rating was delicious. It was great. But I didn't feel good. It wasn't who I was. Nobody was emailing me saying, this, you inspired me, and I had to reevaluate. Now, you knew why you started the show, and this is an introspection. You knew why you started the show, Vanessa. No one is really biting. No one is really, not even one person, Tara. So I had to really examine that. And then I went back and I did some praying. That's what I do. I'll go in my closet and I meditate, and I had to really hear. Because if God told me to shut it down, I will shut it down. If God tells me to move left, I'm going to move left. So I really reevaluated the show, and the thing came aspiring to inspire. That's what I do. I inspire to inspire you to go to work and still be happy regardless of the naysayers who are around you. I want to inspire you because I bring authors on to start that book, to write that book, just somebody with a voice, a positive voice. And sometimes when you do good, Tyra, people look at the quantity and not the quality of your success. And it's not always in the quality. It's in quantity. It's in the quality. So you want to give a good show. You want to give motivation. You want to give inspiration. And your rewards, at the end of the day, it will speak. I promise you. And don't get caught up in timetables. Like, I've been doing it for 3 years, and I don't see any change. Trust me, when you're doing right, people don't always comment. They don't always like and all that, but you do inspire. How do I know that? Because if I talk one-on-one with these people, if I connect, they tell me these things. I don't comment. I don't do anything. But, Vanessa, you really inspire me. And as you know, Ty, or being an author can sometimes be the loneliest of journeys unless your fans or your readers speak to you and tell you what's going on. But what I try to do when I talk about my dramas a little bit, because I'm behind backstage, I'm not in the front. I can feel the atmosphere. I know when to go up. I know when to bring the comedy in. I know when to stop getting so serious. I can feel their presence. And I'm not even seeing them literally. I'm not physically seeing them, but I can feel it. So I can feel the love that my readers and my fans, I hate to say fans, that my readers and my listeners give to me is still there percolating. I say this all the time. They really do inspire me to do better. They inspire me to keep creating, keep aspiring to inspire. Because when I get those emails, when I get those comments, my goodness, and it's not 1,000 and all that, it's good comments. It's not 1,000,000, but when I get those comments that touches my heart, I cannot give up. Can't afford to give up. I keep it moving. So again, it's not always about the quantity. It's about the quality of your work.
Oh, I definitely agree. And I know that you are a hard worker, and you definitely believe in giving quality. I can tell by everything that you do. And speaking of that, I do want to, let's talk about the Certain Ones magazine. Every time I see your covers, they're always so beautiful. You always have beautiful people, you know, authors, gospel artists, business people, all represented. How often do you publish the Certain Ones magazine, and what does it take for you to put out each issue? You know, what's the process for you?
Well, it takes me, we go live the first of every month. So we have monthly publication. And so far we've been blessed to have some great celebrities on there, singers, actors, and authors, pastors. We're just a bridge to connect like-minded people. Now the process for me, we have some awesome authors. I think about 4 or 5 who are successful in their own right, and they contribute to the Certain Ones. They give me their submission, and my board and we go over it, we read it, see if it stands the test of time, or do it complement the Certain Ones criteria, what we believe in. It's a pass muster. It is printed. We have people who want to write for the Certain Ones. They have to go through a process. They can visit us at www.thecertainones.onlinemagazine.com, and they can just go there and fill out the form if they want to contribute. Our team review it, and if it meets, again, our criteria, they are published every month. Now, celebrities, sometimes our community get together, and we go by our interview, what we feel inspire our readers and our listeners, and we will place them on the cover. For instance, we already got an inkling who we're going to have next month, and since the publication comes out in a couple of days, I feel that it's okay because it's to announce who's going to be on the cover next month, and it's Christophe St. James. He is the actor of The Young and the Restless. And Carol, I've been trying for a year to get him, and I just was consistent. And I was praying, talking to God. I'm like, God, I'm not giving up. Your will be done. And so we went through some channeling, some talking, and all that good stuff. And we finally committed because his schedule is crazy. So he'll be on the Certain One Thursday, and we're excited to have him grace the cover of August issue.
Oh, that's going to be a beautiful cover.
It is, right?
Awesome. Wow. Well, I look forward to seeing that. That is awesome. So we talked about your blog talk show and your magazine, but you are also an author and a playwright. And what I like about when I see your plays and your books, and you can let me know, do you write the book first, or do you write the play first? Because I notice sometimes, and you can tell us the titles in just a second, but I just was usually wondering, how does that process start? Like, for instance, your latest book is Love Lifted Me.
Yeah, Love Lifted Me has already been written. It's actually been out about 2 weeks. I'm actually on tour with it. The only book I've had the opportunity to morph into a stage production is the first in my love-inspired trilogy, and that is Love Found Me. And that was a phenomenal show. And yes, he toured a little bit with that one. And Tony Grant starred Tyler Perry's Love Thy Neighbor, which airs on OWN Network. And his stage production, The Marriage Counselor, he starred in it. And let me tell you, Ty, he took it to another level. We're actually working on the DVDs now. So he just took it to another level. And I went to work with his wife, Trisha Mann, now Grant. And she took it to the next level because she's a poetess. And so she had a poetry segment, just took it to the roof. Trish is just phenomenal, both her and Tony. But that was my first stage production, more from my book into a stage production. And I feel that, to answer your question, yes, the book was written before the stage production. And Love Lifted Me, if I do decide, and I feel it, I feel the inkling so strong, and I get these inklings that this will, not this year, because we have Love Redemption, Love Lifted Me will be turned into a stage production 2015.
Okay. And so you just did one recently, so that was kind of separate from the trilogy, just you said the Love's Redemption?
Oh, I'm excited about this one. I'm working with another cast. Actually, this one is going to air we perform in December. I am so amped about this one simply because we do have a real-life married couple. His name is Ashalam Borrego, and his wife's name is Lauren. Beautiful couple out of Charlotte. And they're about 2.5 hours from me, but they committed themselves to this production. And that's why I love these stage productions. Again, it allows me to connect with some talented people. We have people coming from Virginia. We have people coming from Washington, D.C. We have people coming from, again, I'm from like the Wilmington area, Raleigh area. We have people coming from Charlotte. They will email. They will tell me that I'm coming to see you. Atlanta, Georgia, they come to see these productions. I'm always, again, inspired by this. I'm so amazed by this, and I'm amazed by the comments that I get. So this production is going to be December 20th. At 6 o'clock p.m. called Love Redemption, and that's Saturday, December 20th. The door's going to open at 6 o'clock, and tickets are now actually made available for purchasing at loveredemption.eventbrite.com. That's loveredemption.eventbrite.com. So Asharam, he's an author in his own right. He graces the stage because he's a poet. He performs spoken word, so he's very comfortable on the stage. Very nice looking, very handsome young man. He reminds me of Tony Grant, by the way. His wife is Lauren. She's gorgeous, just beautiful. And we have some more cast members who, too, are just talented in their own right. Love Redemption is going there. It really took me outside my comfort zone because I'm not a married person, per se. Right now, but it took me out my comfort zone. I had to really interview people on the street. I had to really interview couples. I had to watch them silently, and then vocally I had to ask them questions to really get in the head of a married couple. So when I write these stories, they be like, Vanessa, where do you get these things from? Where do it come? Only thing I can say is inspired by God.
We have just recently released Love Lifted Me.
The Love Lifted Me is now out, and it, too, is made available for purchasing on Amazon.com, Books A Million, any of the online retail stores. You can get it.
Awesome. And once again, the Love Redemption, the play, will be out December 20th. What was that URL again for purchasing tickets?
Yes. Love Redemption is going to be on Saturday, December 20th. 2004 this year. The door is going to open at 6 o'clock p.m. And this is what we do every year, Ty. I came out, I'll be remiss if I don't mention this. Every year, what we do, we take or collect donated, non-perishable food items, warm clothing, and toys. We collect this every year, and we give it to those who experience hardship or academic hardship around the Christmas holiday. So, and those who donate the most of those items, they will get backstage passes to see our cast and take their pictures and free tickets. So that is an awesome package right there. So it's a win-win situation. You can get the tickets at loveredemption.eventbrite.com.
And tell us where we can find more about you, and also where people can connect with you online.
They can connect with me. They can visit my magazine. You can reach me there at www.thecertainonesmagazine.com or Twitter, /Ness Richardson. That's my personal Twitter, or The Certain One Mag. The Certain Ones Mag. That's MAG. Or they can follow us on Facebook, /The Certain Ones. Or my personal website, which is www.vanessarichardson.net.
Wow, so we have had some really awesome guests on these past couple of the Literary Entrepreneur podcasts. We have a few more coming up in the next few months. So today I hope you enjoyed listening to Vanessa Richardson. Like I told you, she is a phenomenal literary entrepreneur. She is doing some of everything from plays to publishing a magazine to writing books and then hosting a radio show. And as you can see, she is definitely holding it down to her tagline, inspiring to inspire. So I hope that you've definitely left this podcast feeling that inspiration that she left us. As always, give you a reminder, you are more than an author, you are a literary entrepreneur. Writing and marketing is a business. Let's learn to tell the world about your book together.